So I think what a lot of these tools around streamlining process kind of boil down to is we're trying to make your life simple as a developer or a tester or any of this role, but you should be able to focus on what you want to do, and if you use our system, we try to collect as much data for you automatically. And by doing small little things here and there, logging your time and things like that, we can collect and generate a lot of these status things for you. So just a question that you guys, people here using Agile, or how much do you know about Agile processes, and some of you? Yeah. So I think there's a lot of excitement around Agile processes and how they help software development. And I know for a fact, I think Microsoft internally has really tried to embrace Agile processes across the board. It's a big company, so it takes us some time trying to figure that out. But I think we're really trying to figure out how Agile works and how it scales. We're a really large company. How does it scale to a big company? And I think what we're trying to do for our customers is take some of that learning, both from the customers, from the customers, from the community, and from us, and actually build it into products. So we have these things called the Agile workbooks that really let you generate a whole bunch of reports around what your project is doing, what the status is, easily tracking time, and a lot of these things that are really central to the Agile process and how that might help your software development. So it's really exciting because these worksheets, we actually use them. My teams, while we build stuff, we use them, we figure out how the backlog is, we figure out how the bugs are doing and all that kind of stuff. Some really cool development there. So simplified reporting, again, this aspect of, you know what, if I'm a developer and I want to work on the stuff that I want to do, I don't want to spend all my time writing reports. So make that easy for me. There's a whole set of reports. There's a lot of these numbers that are actually pretty standard. Most people actually want the same kinds of numbers from you. So can we give you these reports automatically so you don't have to do a lot of it? There's a lot of really impressive reports that are built in. If we don't actually give you a report, you can use Excel queries and get your own data from PFS and set up your own kind of charts. You know how easy it is to set up a new chart in Excel. So there's some really great reporting features there. And SharePoint, SharePoint seems to come up everywhere. Not only is it being used as a platform across the world, but we're using SharePoint integration with TFS to give you some really cool dashboards so that you don't have to create this. I know before we got this feature internally, I used to have to go into Excel and create some of these dashboards for management. It takes a lot of time, I don't particularly want to do that. And there's some really interesting dashboards I'll show you a little bit later on that should help you go through some of this stuff. So let's go into, I'm not actually going to create any new reports here, but I'll show you some reports that we have collected for this demo. Error, that's not good. Go away. Oh, I think I closed the wrong window. All right, let me just, so here's an example. I'm going to refresh this one a bit, but here's an example of burn down I know for the people who probably raise their hands with Agile. Some of this data is a little weird, but that's okay. It still gets the point across. So here's your burn down. Here's how your tasks went through for the entire iteration. And in this case, what's interesting to look at this dashboard is it looks like this team did really well, right? It looks like I burned down all my hours and I reached completion and it was next to the ideal trend. And this burn down chart is actually really popular. But look at these ones here. If I look at my task report and I look at the ones that were closed or active, I only seem to have closed half my tasks. So that kind of seems like a little bit of a problem. But look at this user story over here. Over here, I've only closed one of my stories. So very quickly, from looking at some of these dashboards, you can really realize you can figure out a couple of trends and a couple of things that were important that you would have probably had to spend a lot of time on. And over here, you can see trend rates and things like that. And all of this was generated automatically. Didn't have to do anything special. This one, let me refresh that. I closed one of the tabs off, but I think this one will have bugs or quality on there. But the three really kind of common dashboards you see here are the burn down, the quality, so how my test plans were and the metrics were. And this one's about all the bugs, So here's my bug progress. here are the various trends that I can get, here's all the bugs by priority, how many bugs have been closed, and all that kind of really good stuff. And all these reports are built for you. Had to do nothing to create all this kind of stuff. So with that, yep. Yep.
You can create as a dynamic dashboard like you know in the car.
Mm-hmm. The speedometer or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's including the SharePoint 2010. Now we use another tool like Dundas.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, he's probably more of a SharePoint expert than I am.
Charts are, something in the performance point services. So using Excel and using reporting services, you can do anything.
But not integrated. We should do the same third party.
So especially for those,
The dynamic ones, yeah.
The dynamic ones. I'm not sure because
Yeah, I don't think we added.
We have another thing.
Yeah.
We have something like that, but it's a different vision. It's not like a car reader, but it's a different thing. But it can show the same thing.
You can show the same kind of information. Yeah, so I mean, all of these obviously with SharePoint are, these are the reports we give you because from talking to the community, these are the ones that we use most often. But different visualizations and stuff shouldn't really be a problem. And I don't know specifically about that control, but it sounds like there are some things that can help you. Yeah. So this is pretty much the end of the thing, but it's an interesting slide here. And I work in developer division. This is the team I work in, and I didn't even realize some of these things. But this is to show you that we're using our own stuff. We use Team Foundation Server for all our development for 2010. And January 2010 is when we collected this data. January 2010 is actually when we started ramping down. We weren't even at our peak of development. And we had 3,600, with 3,500 active devs in the last 14 days. These numbers just get crazy. 900 builds in a month, 830,000 work items. And this is just maddening. 25 million source code files and 16 or 15 and a half terabytes of data. This is Visual Studio 2010 being used to build Visual Studio 2010 and some of the metrics that we collected. And the really great aspect of 2010 is because we've used it internally for a lot of the things that we do. We really hope that some of the learnings and some of the fixes that we've made to it, I know for a fact that because of Team Foundation Server and us using Team Foundation Server, we've actually fixed bugs in SQL Server and Windows. And that kind of usage and that kind of enthusiasm that we have for our own product, I hope really translates to something that you guys will use and love. So, none of these talks are complete, none of these products are complete without all our partners. We have a lot of partners that helped us with this release, and a lot of them have built really great extensions. I encourage all of you, when you have 2010, to click on the extension manager and go find some really cool extensions out there. I think there's like 2,500 or something already simultaneously released. So there's some really, really cool features out there. And just to summarize, this is kind of what we talked about. We talked about a lot of the problems that we face as software development is not really the traditional kind of I'm developing something. It's how teams work with each other and all these problems that the teams face. And I think some of these things that we've tried to address with 2010 really help improve that. And I hope you guys get a chance to use this kind of stuff and are as enthusiastic about it as I am, especially after this long in development. So with that, if you guys have any questions, I'd be happy to take them. I think we'll have time later on too, so I'm going to be here. So I'd love to help answer as many. Yeah.
I have two questions. The first was about the model view controller, MVC, the 2010.
Yep.
The second about the Microsoft solution framework and compatibility with the CMMI.
So what can I help you? So ASP.NET MVC, there is, what question on MVC? No, what do you want to know about MVC? What can I tell you about it?
How can I implement the Visual Studio 2010 with the Microsoft Solution Framework and compatibility with the CMMI?
How he can implement applications using CMMI or Microsoft Solution Framework?
Yeah, so the Agile worksheet, so one of the things I can tell you, the Agile worksheet that I showed you before, there's a different version of that is full CMMI compliant. So some of the same reports and some of the same project planning aspects that I showed you an Agile aspect of, there's a CMMI compliant aspect to it as well. So you can you know, I mean, especially if you're using a very strict process like that, you should be able to